Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. On behalf of Bank Syariah Mandiri, I would like to thank the Mizan Group for giving us the opportunity to host this prestigious gala dinner. We are very much honored to welcome our guest of honor, Madam Karen Armstrong, a big thinker whose ideas and thoughts are highly valued and accepted by many of different faiths. And to welcome many prominent Indonesian scholars here attending this event. We have waited for 10 years for Madam Armstrong's present here in Indonesia. So on behalf of everyone here, I would like to say to Madam Armstrong, welcome to Indonesia, welcome to Jakarta, particularly welcome to Bank Syariah Mandiri.
Ibu sekalian, perkenankanlah saya nanti berbicara selang-seling dalam bahasa Indonesia dan bahasa Inggris supaya tamu kita bisa memahami. First and foremost, on behalf of our publishing company, Mizan, I would like to welcome you, Karen, to Indonesia. We are greatly honored to have you here in Jakarta for the first time. And I would also like to thank Pak Yuslam and Bank Syariah Mandiri for having kindly sponsored this evening's dinner. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have, in fact, we have been wanting to have Karen Armstrong to come to Indonesia for so many years, but it has not been very successful until today. Karen is a very busy person. She's wanted everywhere in the world, making speeches and so on. But fortunately, today, this time, which is coincidentally, it is the 30th anniversary of Mizan. We are very happy that finally Karen Armstrong decided to come to Indonesia for the first time.
Militant kind of aggressive religiosity, sometimes called fundamentalism, has grown up in every single one of the major world traditions as a rebellion against this imbalanced world, a rebellion against humiliation, powerlessness.
Religion has focused more and more on a narrow understanding of religious dogma.
And there's a sense of rage expressed in religious terms.
Every religion, as I understand them, has a history of intolerance, and every religion has principles.
I want people to hear the compassionate voice of religion. I want to change the conversation and bring compassion to the forefront of people's attention. And we need to somehow find a way to implement the golden rule globally so that we treat other nations, other peoples, whoever they may be, as we would wish to be treated ourselves. We need a charter for our own souls, for our own sake, but also for the sake of the world, the sake of our perilously divided world, which is, in one sense, drawn together more closely than ever before.
Semua mengajarkan prinsip perdamaian, keamanan, dan juga kasih.
Bahwa Islam turun ke bumi ini sebagai rahmatan lil alamin, rahmat bagi semesta alam. Artinya adalah bahwa Islam mengajarkan kita untuk berlaku lemah lembut, untuk berlaku ramah, untuk berlaku baik kepada siapapun, tidak hanya kepada sesama agama maupun kepada orang-orang yang berbeda agama.
Agama kita disebut Dinur Rahmah, dan Nabi Agung kita, Nabi Muhammad SAW, disebut Nabiur Rahmah.
Agar perdamaian terwujud di dunia ini, cobalah untuk saling mengerti, saling berbagi, dan saling menghormati.
Perdamaian itu ketika ada rasa toleransi, rasa saling menghargai, rasa saling menghormati.
Hidup damai aja, nggak ada kekerasan, nggak ada saling ejek.
a wonderful welcome I've had here in Indonesia. I've just been here 24 hours. And I have to tell you, my books are much more popular here than they are in the UK. Which is a very, very secular country. But I think perhaps for that reason, I never really associated compassion with religion. For me, I always found religion rather harsh, judgmental. People, if you heard a bishop on television, he was usually condemning something. And yet, when I was studying, every topic that I touched, whether it was a history of Jerusalem, or a history of God, or a history of fundamentalism, the material brought me back to compassion. And it irritated me continually that when religious people came together, you never heard this word. Bishops are all meeting to define a particular doctrine, or to condemn some kind of practice or other, or some political problem. And yet, I became convinced that what the world really needs is respect. It's a task of our generation, is to build a global community where people of all ethnicities, all ideologies can live together in respect. I don't like the word tolerance. That's largely because I'm aware of the Latin, which means tollo, it means to put up with something. And very often it's the word used by the victors, that they will kindly tolerate, put up with some kind of minority. I think we now have to move from tolerance to appreciation. Because in my own work, it's been my study of other faiths, initially Islam and Judaism, and Greek and Russian Christianity, which is very different from Western Christianity. And then later Buddhism, from which I've learned a huge amount, and the Chinese, which was a wonderful discovery for me. Because one of the first recorded instances of what we call the golden rule, never treat others as you would not like to be treated yourself, was by Confucius. His disciples asked him, "Master, which of your teachings is the thread that pulls everything together? What's the central thread that runs all the way through it? And which of your teachings can we put into practice all day and every day?" And Confucius answered in the Chinese word shu, which means likening to oneself. Use your own feelings as the guide to your treatment of others. Never treat others as you would not like to be treated yourself. It demands that you look into your own heart, discover what gives you pain, and then refuse under any circumstance whatsoever to inflict that pain on anybody else. So why has that been so popular in the religions? Because what the faiths all tell us is that in order to come to nirvana or God or Brahman, we have to leave ourselves behind. It's selfishness, egotism that holds us back from enlightenment, from our best selves. And as a young nun, I did all kinds of elaborate exercises to get rid of my ego. We used to crawl around and kiss people's feet and beat our breasts and confess our faults in public. It was all a complete waste of time, because it absolutely embedded you. You became so conscious of your faults and failings. It embedded you in the selfishness, the ego that you were trying to get beyond. But compassion demands every day that you go out towards the other. And notice Confucius said, all day and every day. putting yourself to one side, as the Charter says, dethroning yourself from the center of your world and putting another there.